All right, we are officially live. Hello, everybody. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, We Love Comics. And since it is usually the end of the month when I do this video, I was a little late because of the holidays and everything and having to do the videos of my top comics of 2019, which, by the way, part 2, the top 15 graded comics of 2019, I will be doing most likely tomorrow. So make sure you hit the notification bell, or just check my channel out tomorrow. It should be sometime after around 10:30 in the morning, but I can't guarantee that, but it should be tomorrow. So check out my channel, hit subscribe if you haven't, if you are interested in seeing the top 15 graded comics, and check out the top 50 ungraded comics, that video I did a couple of days ago. So today I have my 4 comics that I'm sending to PGX to get graded. This video is sponsored by them, but they do not pay me. I always want to make sure I let people know I don't get paid to do this. The deal I made with PGX, and I tried to do it with CGC and CBCS, and they never responded, is I asked all 3 companies if I could send in a couple of books to get graded, would you do a discount or some kind of deal if I did a little advertisement? And the owner, Daniel Patterson, and shout out to him, called me directly, contacted me, and offered me the ability to send in 4 books each month to get graded, pressed, dry cleaned, signature verification if need be, and any age of comic. And all I have to do is put in an ad. And I also made sure I got a deal for you guys. If you're interested in PGX to send them in, you don't have to, but if you are, if you send 10 or more books to PGX and you use the code We Love Comics Free Press, you will get one of them pressed for free. Make sure you indicate that on the order form. The link is in the description, and you can check out the code there. So check that out. It's a great deal. And also, because of my idea, for $5 per book, you can get the grader's notes placed on the back of your slabs if that's something you're interested in. That's something I wish all the companies would do, but as of now, of the major 3 companies, PGX is the only one. Ryan says, Chris, has it been selling books that are graded PGX? I haven't had a problem, because I have all key issues, and they're going to be very desirable. I mean, I sell them a little bit cheaper than CGC, obviously, but if it's a key book, people are going to want it. So don't listen to the people out there who just have, you know, a bias towards one company. Me, I always say, all 3 companies will benefit you. It depends on what you're looking for, what you're looking to spend, and the purpose of doing it. If you only go with one company and you think one can do no wrong and one can do no right, then you're not being honest. And I like all 3 companies. I have a video that teaches people about my opinion. It's about a 40-minute long video giving my opinion of the the pluses and minuses of each company. All 3 work for you, but again, it depends on why you're doing it. But selling-wise, if you have key books, they're going to sell regardless. So I haven't had a problem with it, but, you know, I leave it up to you. I'm not here to influence you in any way. I'm just here to show you the books that I'm sending, and then in about 30 days or so, depending on if it's busy there or not, I usually get them back within about a month, month and a half, and then I do a live unboxing where I don't know the grades, and we open them together and learn together. And I've been doing this for over 2 years now. Of all the books, and again, I send 4 every month, of all the books that I've had them grade, only 1 I questioned. And that's not bad in 2 years. But that's why I do it live. And let me put on the video camera to show you the 4 books. It does help people, you know, to see books, because if you've never seen this book before, you'll know the significance, you'll know it might be worth something. I always tell the price that I pay. I give my prediction of the grades and what I think the pages color-wise will come out as, and then we wait for them to come back. So, as always, if you can hit the like button, I always appreciate that. If you want to share it or give it a, you know, hit that notification, I always appreciate that as well. Don't forget to sign up for the cashback program. The link is in the description. Also, it is in the live chat. And speaking of live chat, get into the conversation, because I always do a surprise subscriber shout out. You don't even have to be a subscriber, but it does pay. So the more you comment in here, the more likely I'll see your name. So if you want that shout out, join the live chat and get your voice heard. All right, so I got the video camera on, and now the part that everybody's waiting for. Here we go. Book number 1. These are all books I showed in my, I believe, yeah, in the top 50 of the purchases of 2019. So these books I'm definitely looking forward to getting sent in to be graded. So we have right here, this is Marvel Spotlight number 28. This is the first Moon Knight solo series. He is about to be getting a TV show. Probably won't be in for another year or two, but that means you still have time, because trust me when I say, after an announcement, books go up, but after a couple of months, people forget about it and the price will go down. So always make sure you take advantage of that opportunity if you didn't get it beforehand. So if you want good prices on books, first of all, you got to put the effort in to try and find deals, because there's always deals and I show it all the time. So never give up or never think something's out of your price range, because there's always that one time where somebody posts a book and they sell it for super cheap because maybe they don't know, or maybe they just need money quickly and they know a cheaper price is going to get it sold quick. Who knows? But never give up and change your attitude. Trust me on this. Change your mindset. You'd be amazed at how things will change for you. But this is a special one because it's a 30-cent variant. So the regular one is 25 cents. So this one's going to be much more rare. It is definitely a book to acquire if you can get it. And before I saw this on eBay, I didn't even know there was a 30-cent variant that existed in this. So that's why it does pay to watch people's videos, because you may find something that you never knew about. And this, of course, if Moon Knight does well, and I hope it does, this book has already been very valuable and very popular, but the fact that it's the variant is going to make it even more desirable. So as you could see, it's a pretty clean book. I will, of course, get it pressed and dry cleaned, because it's got a few minor little non-color breaking creases, and a pressing can get that out completely. I don't see any major flaws, but of course this is no 9.8. I like to grade a little bit lower, because if I'm going to be wrong, I'd rather be wrong and it be higher than wrong than it be lower. So I paid $300 for this. This was a package deal. I also got Moon Knight 29, also the 30-cent variant. So there's a 30-cent variant for number 29 as well, but I didn't want to include that in this one just yet. So I paid $300 for this book, and I'm going to say conservatively about an 8.0 to a 9.0 with off-white to white pages. So a pressing probably is going to bring that up a little bit. I mean, I don't even see, normally you'll see color breaking creases along the tips, especially in this corner, but I do not see that. There is a little bit of a stain on the back. It's like the size of a BB, so that's not going to take it down to a 5.0 or anything like that, but there is a tiny little dot of it. It looks like somebody dropped a felt tip pen. Doesn't bleed through the book or anything, so that'll lower it a little bit, but not anything tremendously. So that's book number 1. Book number 2, I have so many of these, it's not even funny. I've been collecting these for years. This is the most expensive one I've paid for. Most of them I paid under $200, and some of them under $100. This, to me, is one of 2 books that I say all the time is completely undervalued, and a book you must own. So if you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably know the 2 books that I've talked about that I've said repeatedly are so undervalued. One is Daredevil number 1, and if you know what it is, you could put it here, but I'm going to show you right now. This, of course, is Hulk number 180. This is the first true appearance of Wolverine. Now, of course, it is a cameo appearance. He only shows up on the last panel of the last page. He does identify himself as Wolverine, so you know who he is. Excuse me. He's not in the shadows or anything like that. It's clear that the character is Wolverine, but because it's only one panel, it is a cameo. Now, everybody wants 181, and it's a great book to have, especially with the iconic cover it has. But anybody that says that Hulk 181 is the first appearance of Wolverine is 100% wrong. It's his first full appearance, but it is not his first appearance. Hulk 180 is. Now, very important with this book, especially if you're new, I don't want to assume everybody watching knows, so I want to make sure if I help one person, that's great. There's a thing called a Marvel stamp in here. If you don't know what a Marvel stamp is, go to my playlist under tips and advice, and I have a video specifically showing it and talking about it. But there is a Marvel stamp in this book. It was basically in the early to mid-70s. They did it in a couple of hundred books. A lot of times the stamp is cut out. If that stamp is not there, this book is considered incomplete and will get a green qualified label. Make sure you check. I did check. It does have the Marvel stamp. This is a book I paid $406.45. If I find this one, at least at the current value, I will pay for it, because this book has so much potential, because once Wolverine ends up in the MCU, and it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when, this book is going to be very desirable. 181 is going to be more desirable, but that's eventually is going to get so out of people's price range that this is the next best opportunity. And again, because I say it's so undervalued, this is a must-own book, even in low grade. Get this book, but again, make sure it has the Marvel value stamp. It's a little tiny, like 2-inch by 2-inch stamp that could dramatically lower the value and the desirability of the book. But if you can't afford a complete copy, better to have one that's, you know, incomplete with just a stamp, because it doesn't affect the story. But trust me when I say, people will regret it if you do not get the opportunity to get this book. You can get a 0.5 still for under about $250 if you know what you're looking for. So this is still obtainable. After the movies start getting announced, the 0.5 will probably jump to $500-$600. Mark my words on this. I've been telling people for years. I am going to predict this is about a 6.0 to a 7.0. That is after the pressings and dry cleanings, because it does have a couple of little bit of foxing, not anything major on the back. It's got a couple of creases that do not break color. It has a little indent along the spine, so a press will fix that. Again, I see maybe 3 or 4 microscopic little ticks on the spine. There's 2 little color-breaking creases right there, so there's nothing you can do about that. That's why it's going to lower it a little bit. But other than that, this book looks really good. So I think a 6.0 to a 7.0 is not out of the realm of possibility for this book. I'll be very happy even if it comes back to a 6, and about off-white to white pages for this book. Another, like I said, please get that book. You will regret it if you miss out on that once they do those announcements, because Wolverine's there to stay, and he's going to not be a one-and-done character. That book, like I said, in my opinion, Hulk 181 is going to become what Amazing Fantasy is now in about another 5 to 10 years. That book is going to be so out of reach, most people are going to gravitate to the next best thing. And if you cannot afford this book, 182, you know, it's another cameo. It's not going to be that major, but people usually get it because they consider it the Holy Grail trilogy. But I would go with Wolverine #1 in the limited series, or the Wolverine #1 in the 80s series. I mean, those are very obtainable and will rise in value. So go with what you can afford. But if you could save up, you know, stop drinking for a couple of weeks, or quit smoking, and all that money you save up and get that book. All right, enough being said about that. Hydra says, Chris, I have Hulk 180, but 2 center pages are detached, everything complete. What does this do to the grade? Obviously, it will lower the grade, but detached inside pages aren't as bad as a detached cover. It's really hard to say because it depends on the rest of the book and what it looks like, but it will, you probably will not get higher than a 5 if everything else is perfect for that book because of the detached pages inside. But it really is going to depend on, you know, what the rest of the book looks like. Comic Ron, he is obviously a troll. Well, if he's a nice one, that's fine. Everybody, well, like I said, if people want their name to be shouted out, the more you comment, the more likely I'm going to see it. So that's probably why he's doing it. So anyway, you guys will police it. If you guys see somebody doing something bad, just put in capital letters, let me know. But if somebody's just saying a lot of things because maybe they want to be seen for the shout out, that's perfectly fine. All right, number 3, another book I've shown. This is a book I've always wanted for years, could not get it because it was a very pricey book. Every now and then you're going to find a deal, so never give up. This is Flash number 110. This is the first appearance of, I think it's Wally West as Flash, and also the first Kid Flash. So this is definitely a significant book. It's a very early in the Flash series because Flash came out in issue 105, at least the Silver Age version anyway. I mean, Flash goes all the way back to the Golden Age, but this is definitely a great book to get. Very expensive, even in low grade, but who knows what's going to be happening with DC if they ever get their you-know-what together when it comes to the movies. They are going in the right direction, so I will give them credit, but, you know, they still have a lot of work to do. They've been playing safe with the ones that are quote-unquote good. But who knows if they're going to end up doing a Flash movie. I hope they do, and I hope they do it right. But I paid $291.20 for this. I'm sorry, 70 cents for this book. Definitely a great price for this book. It does have rusted staples. To some people, that's a deal breaker. To me, I don't really care. You know, because especially when the book's slabbed, you're really not going to be able to see the staples anyway. So I don't really care about that. It's the cover that matters the most, and it also depends on the price. You know, like I always say, low grade is better than no grade. That is something that's my comic book religion. You know, everybody would love a 9.8, but, you know, you got to have the money to pay for it. Unless you got it back in the days and you saved up. And, you know, many of us maybe did not do that. But I'm going to predict this book is about a 3.5 to a 4.5 with creamed off-white pages. This is something I tell people all the time to do, no matter what grading company, if you're going to get your book slabbed. The staples are attached, but they are not barely hanging on, but they are loose. Now, a person that is going to open this up from any company, they're not going to know that. They're going to have thousands of books, so they may not be that careful pulling out your book. They're not going to know the staples are loose or, you know, one's barely hanging on unless you put a message. So on the back of the book, I wrote to please be careful. I told them the staples are barely hanging on. Please handle with care. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't assume that, one, they know, and two, they care. Because if they don't know, they might take it out a little too aggressively. It may end up ripping the staple, and you're the one that gets penalized. So don't be afraid to mark down something on the back of the book. Also, what I do is when I send in my books to any grading company now, at the very least, I put my email address. So if this somehow got separated from them and they found it, they at least know whose book it is by being able to contact them. So give information. Okay, so that's important. All right, so again, I paid $291.70. This is 3.5 to 4.5 in my opinion. Again, it could definitely benefit from the dry cleaning and pressing because there is a little dirt on the back and it could get some of it, not all of it, but any little bit is going to help. And there's a couple of non-color breaking creases. The major thing wrong in this book is the staples. They are completely rusted, but they're not bleeding through. Now, what that means is, like, for example, if you have rusted staples on a book, especially an older book, if you open it up to the centerfold, you could see, like, the residue around it. That means it's kind of bleeding through. So it doesn't have that, but, again, it's still going to lower the grade. But the most of the damage, there's some color breaking at the top. But, again, as you can see, nothing major. A little bit of a tiny piece missing at the top. But, again, that's perfectly fine in those kind of grades. I'm going to be very happy even if it comes back a 3.0. All right. So, last but not least, this one I am making sure I am protecting because of the fact that this is a valuable book. This is my #1 book of 2019. If you watch the video, you know which one this is. This is a book I've wanted for a couple of years since Guardians of the Galaxy came out. It was way too expensive. The price has gone down a little bit. I found a deal, and to me, you know, if you want something that makes you happy, go for it. Don't worry about what other people say, what other people think, or what other people will do. If you spend your whole life worrying about everybody else, you'll please everybody but yourself. Trust me, I learned that in my first go-around with my first channel, We Love Comics, that I shut down back in 2016 or 2017, I don't even remember. But this is the last book. This is Tales to Astonish, number 13. That is the first appearance of Groot. Now, this is a very hard-to-find book. You know, not a lot of people saved this book over the years. This is not Superman. This is not Spider-Man. This is not Batman. This is not Wonder Woman. It's a tree. And in this book, he's actually a bad guy. He's evil. So, not a lot of people ended up getting this book and keeping it. So, it's very rare. It's not rare to the point where there's only 2 in existence or anything, but there are definitely not tens of thousands of this book floating around. That's what brings the value out. So it's not only, you know, the first appearance of Groot, it's the fact that it's rarer. So higher grades are going to be worth a lot of money. Now, obviously, this isn't a super high grade. The major thing is the cover right here. It goes right over here, so you can see how it kind of breaks into one of his limbs right there. It's ripped off, and it does affect a little bit less of the first page. So that's the major problem with this book. Other than that, this book would be about a 5.0 to a 5.5 if it wasn't for that. There's a couple of minor color break increases along the spine. It's going to be hard to see, unfortunately. But again, nothing major to the point where it makes it look horrible. I mean, for a book this old, I'm actually surprised it's actually this good. So you can see the cover presents itself. The colors are amazing. Again, it would be a mid-grade book if it wasn't for that. But because of that, it does lower the grade, and I have to do it accordingly. Now, I ended up getting a deal that I didn't realize, because I made this deal. They were selling it. It was either $1,400 or $1,600. I got them down to $1,000 for this book, which is not bad at all. I'm definitely paying less than what it's worth. But I also paid by a credit card that gave me a $50 credit if I used their card. So I only paid $950 for this book. To me, that is a great grade, because this is about between a 3.0 and a 4.0. In that grade, that is a steal, because that's about a $1,600-$1,700 value of this book in that grade. Now, of course, that's according to the CGC prices, so it'd be about $100, $150 less for a PGX book, because, even though I'm dealing with PGX, I'm not going to sit here and try and say that they do everything right, or, they're the most valuable, because they're not. But they're definitely going to be, the price is right, they are the lowest, they get the books shipped back to you the quickest. I find their cases may not look as beautiful, but they are sturdier. I've had a couple of CGC cases crack. I've never had a PGX case crack once. But again, it's always about personal preference. So this book would have been about a 5.0 to a 5.5 if it wasn't for those two little corners. And now again, that's not 3/4 of the book or a quarter of the book, so it's not going to lower it tremendously. The back of this book really looks good. It's even got about off-white pages. So that, to me, I'm very happy with this book. So 3.0 to a 4.0, off-white pages. I made sure I put this, it's in a bag and a board, then I put that in a bag and a board, and then I put it in a top loader, because when it comes to expensive books, protect it. Again, don't assume that somebody else who's handling your book is going to care about it the way you do. So if you just put it in a flimsy little bag and board that can bend all over the place, and it bends, who's getting punished? Them or you? They're just going to say, oh, it got damaged in the mail, or that's the way it was. Any of the companies take responsibility for any mistakes they make, including CBCS and CGC. I've seen it all the time. So those are the books, and Comic Ron is nice enough to say Chris is the king of deals. You can be too. I have lots of tip videos to teach you how to do this. You have to have knowledge. You have to know what you're buying. You have to know what it's worth. You have to know the grades. You have to know the significance, and you got to know them quick. You got to put in the time and effort. You got to be patient as well. Sometimes, like some of these books, I've waited years to get. Don't just buy the first one you see, because you'll base it on emotion and you'll overspend. Also, timing. You got to know when to buy a book. You don't want to buy a book when there's that moment of an announcement and everybody wants to buy it, and everybody that watches my video, even the trolls and the haters, they'll go on eBay and they'll sell that book for 10 times what it's worth to try and get people to be suckered into that moment of euphoria because everybody wants something. You want to buy it when nobody's thinking about it, or you want to buy it before everybody's thinking about it, or you want to wait a couple of months if you miss that initial, because you got to be quick. If there's an announcement, you got to get it within an hour, probably even less than that. And if you can't get it at that point, you see the price is getting out of reach, wait a couple of months, it will die down, you will see a dip. Now obviously that dip won't be lower than the initial rise in the beginning, but if you didn't get it beforehand, there's nothing you can do about that. So it's timing, it's patience, it's effort, because like I said, a lot of these, I didn't have an eBay auction where it was a best offer. Some people just had to buy it now. I made the effort to contact them and said, hi, I know you don't have a best offer, but if I offered such and such amount, would that be enough to get me this book? And you're going to have a lot of people say no and a lot of people not respond, but if you get one or two of them to be able to give you a discounted price that wasn't even there, you made that happen. So you got to make the effort. The early bird gets the worm. And also, not the timid bird. Don't be a timid bird. Be one of those people that's not aggressive to the point where you're harassing somebody or being mean or being nasty or not taking no for an answer. I mean, I will never, if somebody says, no, I'm not interested, thank you, I'll respond with a thank you, good luck with your sale. I won't try and continue to do something, because then you're just harassing the person, and that's not going to help you. So make sure you have integrity, make sure you have knowledge, make sure you put in the effort. And again, when it comes to listed books where somebody may not have known what they were selling or just don't care, or again, maybe just need quick cash so they sell it way cheaper than what it's worth, you got to start going to the newly listed books and refresh like every 15 seconds. I do that sometimes for hours. So the deals that I get, I earn. I don't just all of a sudden wake up one day, go on eBay and all of a sudden there's 50 comics just waiting for me to pay $1 for it. It doesn't work that way. I don't want to go to comic conventions. I don't want to be going through dollar bin boxes for days at a time and hours at a time. So if that's fun for you, then please do it. But I want to be at the convenience of my home, 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, nothing to do, go online, look for some deals, or make some deals happen. So, as they say in life, you get what you give. If you put no effort, don't be shocked that you get nothing in return for that lack of effort. Most people just want to be handed everything, and it just doesn't work that way. Because trust me, I don't have a trust fund. I don't have millions of dollars in my bank account. I have bills to pay. We just moved. I spent literally, since we moved to being here, I've probably spent about $40,000 that I had to come up with. That's one of the reasons why I was and am still selling some of my comics, which, speaking of which, I put the link in. People may not understand that I went from having $400 in my bank account to having to come up with about $30,000 to $40,000 within, a 2-month span. That requires a lot of effort and work, not luck. So if you think wishing and hoping and luck is going to get you what you want, you're going to be sitting around wishing, hoping, and having luck, just not the kind that you want. Because like they say, if it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Don't be one of those people. Change it. There's the people that want to wish and hope and pray and think it's all about luck, you're always going to be disappointed. The ones that make things happen. Try and win a race by wishing you'll win, or hoping you'll win, or thinking luck will make you win, and not exercise, not be in good shape, not train. See how many times you win those races. You know who wins? The ones that spend hours a day practicing, exercising, eating right, doing what it takes, sacrificing. That's what it's all about, and most people don't want to do that because that requires work. In this world, if you want handouts, you're going to be getting what somebody else is throwing away as garbage. Do you want to have somebody else's garbage, or do you want to earn what you want and not what somebody else is willing to throw away at you? Don't be a pig in a trough that's just waiting for a bunch of slop to be handed to him for free. Because that's what you're going to get mostly in life. And then complaining about it doesn't help. So I know some of the things I say people may not want to hear, may not like hearing. If you want to be in shape, you got to exercise. You got to eat right. Sitting around eating bonbons, watching TV all day is not going to help. People have said, it looks like I've lost a lot of weight. Well, when I was back in New York and depressed and having all these bad things happening, I was on YouTube all the time. As you notice, I don't respond to comments as quickly, and I apologize for that, but I'm actually more active now. When it's warmer out, I go swimming all the time. I'm not sitting around just eating all day. So you got to make the effort. So this is, I can tell you what you want to hear, or I can tell you what you need to hear. And if 1,000 people listen to this and only one person changes their life in a different direction because of it, then to me that's a beautiful thing. So not everybody is going to be willing to put in the effort. But if you want to make things happen, you got to change your mindset, you got to put in the effort, you got to know what you're investing in, and you got to make time. If you sit there and say you don't have time, well, life is going to give you what you say you don't have, even if it's not what you want. So that's my little sermon for the day. If you appreciate those kind of things, let me know in the comment section. If you are my power viewers, and that means you watch a video from beginning to end. Obviously, if you're just tuning in now, you'd have to rewatch it to do that. Let us know in the comment section. If you're an ultra power viewer, you are a person that every video of mine you click on, you go from beginning to end. So let me do a surprise subscriber shout out. Today, that is going to go to C3 Comics. So C3 Comics, he says Happy New Year to everybody. So Happy New Year to you too. Hopefully you all have a great day. Happy hunting. Make deals happen. Put in the effort. Listen to my advice. You know, I'm not selling it to you. I'm not doing some motivational speech that you have to be charged to do. This is free advice for those willing to put in the effort to make things happen. Don't be surprised then all of a sudden your life changes. You know, there's a person that at the flea market that I sell at, and he constantly, I'm not going to say who it is, but he's a person that sells there that constantly harasses the people that go by, won't take no for an answer. One of the things this person says is, I want to get my name out there. Well, he's getting his name out there, but it's not necessarily good, because people have complained about him. Customers have complained about this person many times. So his name is getting out there, but not in the way he imagines it to be. So be careful what you wish for. You may get it. Think better. So thanks for watching. I hope you appreciate my advice. See it for what it is, because I care about you all. And as Pages, Films, and Plastic says, have a great 2020. I hope you have that and beyond. So thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up. Please don't forget to do that. Let me know what you thought about my comics, the prices, the deals, and my advice. And don't forget, it is not you. It is not I. It's We Love Comics. Thanks for sticking around hearing me ramble. I really appreciate the effort and the kindness that you guys share. Have a great day, and everybody. And don't forget, tomorrow, I will most likely around 10:30ish, but don't hold me to that, but I will be doing the top 15 comics of 2015, the graded comics. So check that out. If you haven't seen the other video I did with the top 50, check that out. So I'm still rambling. Peace out, everybody. I will see you next video. And if you stayed this far, you'll prove your power viewership by telling me that currently live 40 people are watching.